The Quest 3 has a big battery problem, but there is a way to fix it, while at the same time unlocking some awesome features. So let's dive right into it. Most users who own a Quest 3 VR headset have been reporting some battery life issues. And while on paper it should have been on par with the Quest 2, it is in reality that its new chipset seems to take a lot more power than expected. Even so much that most of them already have a dead battery after just 1 to 2 hours of gameplay. And that, of course, is much too short, especially keeping in mind that the battery's quality might get worse over time. But luckily, Meta now finally unlocked the option to partially fix this problem, because they added in a new feature called the Extended Battery Life mode, giving you much more control of how long you can actually use your VR headset. And it can be found inside your power settings menu, but it also has some trade-offs, because when you toggle it on, you will be able to use your headset for much longer, but you will be trading it in for some high performance. That means that if you are planning on playing some intense games, you can expect some frame drops as well as lower quality when using this battery saving feature. So it will still be up to the user to decide if this is truly worth it. Of course, if you're going in for a shorter gaming session, it would be highly recommended to turn this feature off completely, since then it will use the headset's highest performance that it is actually capable of. But if you're planning on a longer gaming session, then this might be worth it after all. However, there luckily are also some other options to increase your battery drastically without having to suffer anything for the quality itself. But we'll get to that in a second, because this is not the only feature that Meta unlocked, since you now will also have access to what they call their Activities tab. And this makes it much easier to connect and play together with your friends, since it will show your invites to recommend apps and games that you can play in a group together, also making it much easier to start a call, as well as joining one that is already in progress. And the same goes for YouTube live chat, which thanks to this will now be directly integrated into your Quest 3, so you can use it even while being fully immersed in your virtual reality game. But Meta was not the only one that made some big changes, because none other than Valve launched their new Steam VR platform that became a complete overhaul to what it looked like before. And this is especially important for all those PC VR users, because Valve is now finally stepping back in the virtual reality space, where this huge upgrade now finally implements things like live chat, as well as the modern store library and a complete redesign in how you use your keyboards, as well as its VR interface, which honestly are some things that should have been implemented much earlier. But this also gives hope that Valve isn't done with VR, with many reports still waiting eagerly for their Index 2 headset, as well as their insane brain-reading VR device called Project Gallia. But getting back to the Quest 3, and like mentioned before, there are now also ways of upgrading your battery life directly. Think about the head straps from Meta that can give you an extra 1 to 2 hours, but also the new innovations that don't add any weight to the headset. These are especially useful since it will keep your comfort, as well as letting you play much longer. An example that might solve this problem is a battery pack that can be used as a belt, where you can just put it around your waist and directly connect it to your headset, meaning you don't have to worry about any comfort changing, with this one being called the Carina W1. But what makes these things so cool is with their 10,000 mAh battery, you can get up to 4 to 9 hours of extra battery life, which should be more than enough for all your VR needs. And of course, unlike Meta official battery saving mode, you don't have any of the trade-offs regarding performance or quality. And that gets us to the VR games, with one of the best titles that you can get on your Quest 3 being none other than Battle Talent. And you have most likely already seen gameplay of this awesome physics-based roguelike before, since it is known for its sword-fighting gameplay, but it lets you battle hundreds of enemies in highly realistic environments. But what makes it one of the greatest Quest 3 titles is that the developers are highly dedicated to it, giving players big updates completely free of charge, where right now they added in 3 different modes, that being the Sandbox mode, Adventure mode, and lastly their Challenge mode, where in Sandbox you can have free access to all levels and items so that you can play the game in any way you want, where in Adventure mode you will immerse yourself completely in a storyline progression. And last, for those who love the challenges, they added in some big dungeon experiences, with even a complete new economic system to upgrade your weapons, as well as merchants and blessings. Like, come on, they even added in a gambling machine for your upgrades inside the game. So for everyone who hasn't already, you should definitely check this one out. And you can be sure to hear more about it once they unlock even more possibilities. But next, we have an amazing game that you can get completely for free on your Quest 3, with this one being called Gravity League. And just like before, you might have heard of this game already, and it is best described as a Tron-like air hockey together mixed with baseball. In here, you will challenge others in this futuristic VR sports, where your coordination and reaction speed are basically key to winning, and with loads of customization options. This makes it truly one of the best free Quest 3 games that you can get right now. And it is pretty much a no-brainer if you're looking for some good games without spending any money at all. But next up, we have Elfen Assassin. If bow shooting is more your thing, then you will feel right at home. Because here, you will have to aim your arrows just like a sniper to kill waves of orcs and enemies in an epic defense game. And while many have already played this fantasy-based shooter, they also released a DLC called Rise of Darkness, which will also let you face off against skeletons, bats, and even dragons. Besides, their new highly detailed spooky maps add a lot to the immersion, and this is in combination with the many new special armor sets as well as traps and spells that you can use inside the game. But again, this one isn't easy at all, truly testing your accuracy and bow and arrow skills, like your Katniss from the Hunger Games. So pun intended, you should definitely give this one a shot. And we also had the release of a very unique VR title called Nightfall Warriors. But what makes this one so special is that you can play it with friends that don't even own a VR headset. Now firstly, you will also have a solo mode, where you will fight supernatural monsters while unlocking a bunch of weapons and abilities on your journey. But in duo mode, your companion can help you explore the map as well as getting loot and use their own abilities. This makes it great when you're playing with a friend together, but you only have one Quest 3 headset to go around. And instead of just casting it on your TV and letting your friend watch your gameplay and just wait for their turn, they can now actively engage with you and also have an impact on the game, creating a pretty cool scenario in these kind of situations. But if you want to get an even deeper look to the Meta Quest 3 headset, then click on the video you see on screen right now to make sure you don't miss out.